Welcome or welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the second Roadhouser Reads vlog of 2025. If you are not sure what Roadhouser Reads is, I will leave vlog 1 linked above. But basically I run a Discord for the channel which is free to join. You can join whenever you want. It's always linked in the description of all of my videos. And I gave everyone the option to put in some books from my TBR into the jar slash mug thing, cauldron, this. I had a jar last year and it was so much fun, but I had done anything that was on my Goodreads TBR, which was horrendously out of date, and there was lots of things I couldn't get my hand on. So what I did at the beginning of 2025 or late 2024 was I made a spreadsheet of everything that I own and haven't read on my shelves or on my Kindle, and we did a whole new jar. I am doing my best to keep that spreadsheet up to date, so if people join mid-year they have like a completely up-to-date list. And actually it's really helpful for me when it comes to planning my TBR, because sometimes seeing books in a list is easier than everything that's happening behind me. I'm gonna be honest, there are some scary things in this cauldron, but hey, if they come out, at least it'll actually get me to read them. So I'm not sure how many I'm going to do for this vlog yet. It is Easter bank holiday weekend coming up, so that's a 4-day weekend. I do have some plans, not many plans, so there is the potential for quite a bit of reading, and I'm on a bit of a high right now because I've just come off my mood read vlog, which I think went really well, and I read 2 possible favourites. I'm still on the fence about Victorian Psycho, but I feel like if I keep saying that I really loved it, I probably really loved it. So I'm gonna aim for like 4, but just see how it goes. If it's going really well, we'll carry on. I guess it depends if some of the absolute chonkers come out of here, because then it might be 1 book and a breakdown. Okay, as always, give it a little shake, give it a little shuffle, and we're gonna go with this one. This one right here, which is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is Paige's pick. I think this is on my Kindle because I own The Twisted Ones and Hollow Places. I think this is on my Kindle. 1 second. Okay, yes, it is on my Kindle. And this genuinely could not be a more perfect pick. It's a short horror, and I have been watching a lot of horror recommendations on TikTok recently, just kind of like getting more ideas, adding things to my Kindle list and stuff, and this keeps coming up. I think I could really like this, and it being on my Kindle is very advantageous because I'm having my hair done tomorrow. I'm going straight from a work like briefing event thing, like a gathering thing, so I'm going straight from there to the hairdressers, so just having to take my Kindle is very much appreciated because then I can just read this at the hairdressers. When Alex Easton, a retired soldier, receives word that their childhood friend Madeline Usher is dying, they race to the ancestral home of the Ushers in the remote countryside of Ruravia? I can't say that. What they find there is a nightmare of fungal growths and possessed wildlife surrounding a dark, pulsing lake. Madeline sleepwalks and speaks in strange voices at night, and her brother Roderick is consumed with the mysterious malady of the nerves. Aided by a redoubtable British mycologist, am I okay? And a baffled American doctor, Alex must unravel the secrets of the House of Usher before it consumes them all. Right, this is the House of Usher retelling. I figured that out by myself. Well done. I am very happy with this pick. This is a good start to the vlog, as long as I like it. So it's now Saturday and I am just over halfway through What Moves the Dead. I have not read as much of this as I was expecting to do because I decided to try and do 2 vlogs at the same time. I did read like 30% of it, I think like 34% or something, while I was at the hairdressers, and then I've picked it up a little bit over the last couple of days, and I am enjoying it. I am for sure enjoying it. Just not as much as I was expecting to. A lot of that is my own issue. I, for some reason, went into this thinking it was a modern retelling. It is not. We're set in like the 1800s or something. It's just not giving me the creepiness that I wanted to. There are moments for sure. There are definitely moments like when the movement of the weird hairs is described, very creepy. But there is a lot of humour in the writing style. And whilst I love humour in my horror, C. Grady Hendrix, like my favourite author. It's not that it's not working, but sometimes I feel like it's detracting from the creepy tone that I want, and that's a personal preference. That being said, I've highlighted quite a lot actually, of moments that are kind of humorous. So it's not that I don't like them, it's just that I was expecting a different vibe, I think. The only other thing that I've read from T. Kingfisher so far is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, which was more like a very young adult. Like, I thought it read more like a middle grade fantasy about like this girl who has magical powers to do with bread. Like, she can make things out of bread and bring them to life and stuff. And I thought that the tone of that was just because of like, oh, it's like a young adult fantasy, middle grade type fantasy. I was not expecting so much of it to carry over into the horror, if that makes sense. Like, this is a personal preference thing, and as I said, I don't hate it because I am still enjoying the book, but there are times when I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm getting the unsettling, creepy vibe that I thought I was going to get. I will say though that I love the main character. So the main character is Alex Easton, and in like the real world they would use they them pronouns, but Alex Easton is from an imaginary European country called Ruravia. Ruravia is the name that I couldn't say when I was reading it, when I was reading the synopsis. And in this made-up country, they have a very different view of gender and pronouns, which I absolutely love, because they have like pronouns for kids, pronouns for men, women, pronouns for other things, and then you can choose to be a soldier, and then there is pronouns specifically for soldier, and once you kind of have used those pronouns, you can keep them for the rest of your life if you want to. So a lot of it's kind of mentioned that a lot of women in that country would join up because they would rather be like a soldier and kind of rise above gender, if that makes sense. And the timing of me picking this up right when the UK Supreme Court is making rules on what constitutes being a woman, I mean, it wasn't intentional, but I'm very glad to be doing it. As a side note, I don't see any laws being brought in on what constitutes being a man, but you know, there's been a few moments where Easton is not sure how the American doctor at the house is gonna react to them. They mention a few times how he is still not sure whether he's supposed to get up when they come into the room and stuff, and it's interesting in a way, like how the other characters have reacted in a way, because they meet this English woman and she's not sure how to refer to them until she notices like their officer badge, and then immediately switches to like the car pronouns, I guess it would be like the soldier pronouns, and then the doctor is still unsure but is trying his best, and obviously the two friends just refer to them as car and everything because they're very used to it, you know. And it's kind of interesting to see it being challenged in a historical setting by creating a fictional place, because then it becomes less about gender norms and more about being kind of like culturally sensitive, because you're thinking about another country's culture. And it's just interesting how it's been kind of like framed. So whilst I am enjoying the story and I do enjoy a lot of the conversations that we're having, I just want it to be a bit creepier, and I'm just feeling like we're slowly getting there, but I'm now like 54% into this, what is a short novella, and I'm still waiting for that moment that really creeps me out. I have a book of Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm pretty sure The House of Usher is in there, and I'm tempted to kind of read it, maybe not for this video, not for this vlog, but I want to read the original, because I think this is the second House of Usher retelling that I've read now. I think I'm pretty sure Mexican Gothic was a House of Usher retelling, and I kind of want to just read the original and see what the vibe is and see like how creepy it is, because I'm expecting anything related to this to be really creepy, And maybe that's because I haven't read the original and I'm not getting the tone right. I just thought this was going to be creepier. So hopefully the second half will really creep me out. It is later on Saturday and I have now finished What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And I think I'm going to give this... I think I'm going to give it a 4. I'm like contemplating a 3.5. But really, this was very good. Like, it had some great representation. I thought it kind of took what I know of the House of Usher and reworked it really well. I thought that there was some creepier moments in the second half, and that I did enjoy the writing style. It wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, but looking at it subjectively, it is very good. I definitely enjoyed the second half more than the first half. I felt like it was a little bit slower in the beginning, whether it was because of all the setup of Rivera, which may actually, it is a fictional place, but I think may be a reference to a fictional place that's been used in something else, but I don't really know. It was just something that was said in the author note that I was like, oh, maybe this is a callback to something that I don't know about. But there were, because of that setup and setting up kind of like the characters and stuff, it was a little bit slower. The second half, I really, really enjoyed. I definitely think it was creepier in the second half. I just felt like it could have been more. I still am not 100% sure how I feel about T. Kingfisher's writing style. I guess I need to read a couple more because I'm kind of not including A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking just purely because it's like fantasy, which is not always my vibe anyway. So I'm going to try and just go off the horror side. So this is technically like my first T. Kingfisher horror. I have 2 more on my shelves, so I think once I've read them I'll have a better understanding of whether her horror writing style works for me. I want it to. I really want it to, because I do like humour in my horror, like I said before. I'm just not 100% sure whether this style works for me, when it really should, because it's very sarcastic and I am very sarcastic as an individual. I know there's a second book to this as well, and I am tempted to pick that up because I did like Easton as a character, and the setup for the second book, I'm not sure if it's also based off something, but it sounded really intriguing. So I think maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try the 2 that I own, and then I'll have a better understanding of whether T. Kingfisher is an author for me or not. So let's pick our second book for this vlog. Give them a shuffle, and we're going to go for this one right here, which is... oh, okay. How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. This is Siobhan's pick. Let me get it. Okay. How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. I realise I sounded very unsure when I pulled this out. And that's because I kind of am. Because since I bought this, a couple of people have said that they're not sure it's my sort of thing. So, you know, I'm going into it with an open mind though, because when I bought it, I was really intrigued by it, right? So let me read the back. God, the writing's really tiny. I might see if I can get an audiobook to go along with this. They say you can't choose your family, but you can kill them. Meet Grace Bernard, daughter, sister, serial killer. Grace has lost everything and she will stop at nothing to get revenge. Oh, that doesn't give me a lot, which is maybe not a bad thing. I'm assuming that she hates her family and kills them. I don't know. The writing is super tiny. Like, look how tiny that writing is. Maybe it's hard to see on camera. Okay. I am unsure. I'm unsure. I'm going to see if I can get the audiobook. Hopefully my library has it, because that is super tiny and I think that I will need help focusing on that. I am intrigued, obviously, because I was intrigued enough to buy it. Just a few things that I've seen since I bought it have made me wonder whether I'm going to enjoy it. But hey, the best way to find out if I'm going to enjoy it or not is to read it. And if I don't enjoy it, then at least it's not sitting on my shelf anymore, taking up space. And if I do enjoy it, then I get to have a good time reading a book. It's Tuesday. I am 112 pages into How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie, and I'm getting DNF. So everybody who said to me that they didn't think I was going to enjoy it, yeah, correct. I'm going to do some broad reasons why I'm DNFing, and then I'm going to do spoilers, because I don't think I can genuinely explain why I'm just going to call it without doing some spoilers. Obviously, they're going to be fairly mild spoilers because I'm only 100 pages in. So I did end up getting the audiobook from my library, and I have to say I'm not a huge fan of the narration. There was something about either the tone or the cadence, I'm not really sure, just something about it was a bit off, and I didn't love it. However, to start with, I was like, do you know what? I'm fairly interested. I'm going to push through. I will also say I was slightly distracted today, just in general. I did have some work stuff to do, but I was in one of those moods today where it's just a bit. However, a decent book would have still grabbed my attention. That's harsh, but you know what I mean. A very nice distraction today was a vlog that Ash posted where she read some of my favourite books without me knowing. And I'm still reeling because for some of that, I was in the same house as her. There was literally a clip where I am downstairs and yet I had no idea this was happening. I had so much fun watching that vlog. So if you haven't watched it yet, I'll put it down below. Please go watch it because it was so good. Anyway, back to the book. So yes, all of that. I was, you know, maybe not in the right frame of mind for it, but this has always been a book that I was unsure about. I've just noticed that the ring light he's giving the Colossal Titan a halo. That's hilarious. You see what I mean about being easily distracted today? You know, I was unsure going into it anyway, and I'd already been told, oh, I don't think you're going to vibe with it. I don't think it's going to be your writing style, and it isn't. So with the best will in the world, even if I sat down and read it with zero distractions, I don't think I would enjoy this. I wasn't a huge fan of the writing style. I wasn't a huge fan of the character. To start with, I was behind her motivation, but she very quickly lost me. And it was just the way that it was presented to me, like the information was presented to me. I lost interest so fast. So let me do a spoiler section and I'll explain. We're following this woman who's called, I have no idea, Grace. Grace. We're following this woman called Grace, and her father had an affair with her mum. So he was married and he had an affair with this woman, and she gave birth to Grace. And he very quickly was like, I don't want anything to do with her. I don't want anything to do with you. Don't contact me. Right. Then Grace's mum dies when she's young, and she finds out that her grandparents knew about her and actively convinced her dad, or I don't think it took much convincing, but actively encouraged her dad not to have anything to do with her, not to be a part of her life. And he doesn't even step up when he finds out that her mum has died. Like, they still don't offer to help apart from like $5,000, which, let's be honest, is not gonna do a lot. Her dad is part of this incredibly wealthy family, and so she decides that she's going to take revenge on them and kill them all. Down with the corrupt rich, eat the rich, all that kind of stuff. I love it. That kind of premise, I was like, yeah, okay. And the first people that she kills are her grandparents, and honestly, they are the worst. They deserve it. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't love how it was written. Like, there was a lot of kind of like set up, and it was all just stuff that I didn't care about, and it was all just, I don't know, I just kept thinking like, God, I don't know that I really care, but okay, yeah, she's out to get her revenge, fine. Then she targets her one cousin, and to start off with, she really struggles to find him, and it turns out he's like estranged, and he's gone down a very different path to them. She befriends him without him knowing who she is, obviously, and he's like doing volunteer work for frogs or toads or something in London. Where? I can't remember. Something to do with frogs. And he tells her that he doesn't speak to his family because they're really toxic, and so he doesn't have anything to do with them. And she's like, oh yeah, he's nice and everything, but you know, he could fall back on that money if he wanted to, even though he said that he doesn't speak to them, they're not good people, they're toxic, he's going down a different path, he wants to go and like look after exotic frogs. But she kills him anyway, and that's where she lost me. Because do you know what? I can get behind the horrible grandparents. I can get behind the dad. I feel like she's going to end up killing his wife, and that doesn't seem fair because, yeah, all right, she's rich and she's got everything that you want to have, and she's maybe a bit snobby in that, but She doesn't know you exist. Unless it turns out she doesn't know. Who knows? I just kind of got bored in that 100 pages. I could see what was going to happen. I can see the cycle that we're going to go down. Each one is going to be, here is the setup of how I got close to them and then I killed them and, you know, whatever. She's in prison at the start, so we know she's in prison for something. Although I feel like she said, or maybe I misunderstood, I feel like she said that she wasn't in prison, or they don't know the full extent of her crimes, but then she's writing this. I think it's like a journal, and confessing to all her crimes. So I'm out. I don't care enough to find out, so I'm just going to put it down. Okay, spoilers over. Basically, I don't care. I don't want to read this anymore, so I'm not gonna. I feel like that's growth, because there would have been a time where I would have like pushed through because it's for a vlog, or because I feel like I didn't give it a fair chance. But do you know what? I feel like I did give it a chance. This is just not for me. I can see why it would work for other people, but it's not for me. I do have issues with some of this. Deliciously dark, not really. Chilling, but also laugh out loud funny and hilarious. I mean, not in the 100 pages that I read. I think it was trying to be funny, but I don't think it achieved it. Anyway, I'm really sorry, Siobhan, that I did not finish your pick. But I still think this is a win, okay? Because part of it being all my owned TBR is that these things are actively taking up shelf space. So do I think everything in this jar is going to be a win? Not necessarily, clearly, right? I knew that from the start. I was expecting there to be some ones that I didn't gel with anymore, because my shelves have been curated over a period of time where my tastes have been changing a lot. So actually having them in the cauldron and kind of like picking them at random and reading them is making me pick them up, and that is making me make the decision on whether I'm keeping them or not. And I can safely say this one will be unhauled. I think I just got pulled in by the hype as well. Like, everyone seemed to be talking about it. It was in Tesco's, I saw it, I bought it, and I'll be honest, I hadn't thought about it again, apart from every time I did an unhaul thinking, no, I give it a chance. I should have just unhauled it. But never mind. Never mind. Let's move on to our next read. I'll give these a shuffle. And our next pick is this one. Ooh. Ooh, okay. When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. And this is Sharon's pick. I know you're up there. Oh my god. Okay. I'll be back because I need to get a stall. Here it is. When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. Now, there are two things that slightly concern me about this. One is it's historical, and two is it's fantasy. However, I am kind of in the mood for this, I'm not going to lie. There is something about this book that really calls to me, and I've been thinking about picking it up anyway. So I think this might be the perfect time for it. Wisconsin, 1955. In a world where girls and women are taught to be quiet, the dragons inside them are about to be set free, and nothing will ever be the same again. When hundreds of thousands of ordinary women sprout wings, scales and talons and take to the skies in a blaze of fire and fury, 8-year-old Alex Green is one of those left behind. And no one will talk about what happened. Best forgotten, everyone says. But Alex can't forget, nor does she want to. As Alex grows into a fiercely independent teenager, she must face the consequences of the mass dragoning, a society closing in on itself, a mother more protective than ever, and watching her beloved cousin Beatrice becoming dangerously obsessed with the forbidden. This timeless and magnetic novel from Newbery Medal winner Kelly Barnhill exposes a world that wants to keep girls and women small and examines what happens when they rise up. I'm kind of intrigued by it. I'm wondering whether to get the audiobook for this because it's not hugely chunky, but again, the writing is quite small, and I think I've sampled the audiobook before and I quite like the narrator. So I think I might get that because I'd like to listen to it whilst I work tomorrow. So I'm actually super intrigued by this. I really like this cover as well, the like dragon eye. So I think I got this from Hannah's Unhaul from Ladder M. So it's been calling to me ever since I got it. This might be one that I kind of do both. I might audiobook it while I'm at work and then audio and eyes do immersion, maybe tandem, whatever it is. So I'm hopeful. I'm more hopeful for this one, but this is still risky. Hello, I have finished When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. I did film a clip at the 50% mark. I watched it back. It was shite. I've binned it off. So I'm just going to tell you about this in its entirety. So I finished this about half an hour ago, and I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I'm so frustrated by this book because at the 50% mark, I was like, I am enjoying it. I was very glad for the audiobook. If you're going to read this, I do highly recommend the audiobook. I thought that the narrators did a really good job. So I was enjoying that. I was enjoying the story, and it was genuinely making me so angry in so many places. This is a very feminist, female rage type story, and so many things happen. You're just so angry about the whole situation. Basically, in 1955, there is this mass dragoning event. All these women turn into dragons, and everyone's supposed to pretend it didn't happen, right? So it becomes like uncouth almost to talk about it. It's what do they keep saying it is? Inappropriate. It's seen as inappropriate to talk about the dragoning, to talk about dragons in general. Like, they become a very taboo subject. There's a reference in this where they're like, oh, you know, you're not allowed to talk about dragons and menstruation and miscarriages. And it's just like, it becomes this thing where men don't want to talk about it because it's to do with the female body. So I liked that aspect of it. I liked the fact that, you know, these women were becoming dragons and then everyone's like collectively pretending it didn't happen because it's like unseemly. I like as well that throughout it, because it's told like a historical memoir, right? So it's this woman talking about when she was a kid and the mass dragoning happened, and then coming to terms with what that meant for society and how things changed over, like, I don't know, however many years. And I enjoyed the fact that there was some inserts from like a scientific journal type thing, where basically you can see how the science is changing. So like the more research they do, the more technology improves and things, they understand the dragons more and more, and they understand what it means. So like, to start with, is this spoilers? Let's do spoilers. To start with, they think that it's like mothers or women just like of a certain age that will turn into dragons, but then it turns out no, actually, like, women that have been through the menopause have turned into dragons. Women that have had optional hysterectomies have turned into dragons. There is reference to trans women that have turned into dragons. At one point, just a man. It's not revealed whether that was a trans person or not. It just said a son turned into a dragon. So it's kind of like, it becomes more than just like, oh, biological women are turning into dragons. It's more about all the different types of people that make up women, if that makes sense. Okay, no more spoilers. It's also got some good representation, and it's really like 1950s suppressed sapphic relationships. Like, these women are clearly in love. They clearly have feelings for other women, but it's very, very suppressed because it's the 1950s. And it was interesting how we saw attitudes changing to same-sex relationships alongside attitudes changing towards dragons, if that makes sense. And it's almost like, well, as dragons were becoming more understood and more accepted, that was kind of going along with it, if that makes sense. I didn't hate the historical setting. I didn't hate the writing style, but it also wasn't like captivating me. I genuinely don't know if I would have finished this without the audiobook. If I was sitting and physically reading it, it's very short. I don't think it would have held my attention the same way. So, I mean, hats off to the narrators because they did a really good job. I wanted to like this more than I did, I think, because there were parts of it that proper made me angry. You know, like the whole not talking about it and not like sharing the information so that people understood it, like repressing it all and keeping it all like under lock and key because it's inappropriate, and we mustn't teach this to our young women, we mustn't teach this to children, and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's so frustrating. And her dad might be one of my most hated fictional characters ever, which says a lot, because some of the characters that I've read from have done like whole mass murders, and he hasn't murdered anyone. He's just a piece of shit. Like, I genuinely hated him so much. He does not do one thing in this book where I don't go, oh, what an asshole. So much of the rage that I felt whilst reading this came from interactions with her dad. He was vile. I thought there was some good character growth. I thought there was some good discussions. But did I say what I'm rating it? I'm rating it a 3.5. I can't remember if I said what I'm rating it. The reason that I'm only giving it a 3.5 is that this had so much potential, and I think we focused on the wrong bit, okay? Because this book is like 330 pages-ish, right? I would say that the first 250 pages is very kind of samey. We're very focused on Alex's kind of daily life and the daily struggle she has, the things that, like, she wants to get into higher education, and she wants to be like a mathematician or something like that. Like, she wants to go on to university, and there's all these obstacles in the way because she's a woman, and it's like the early 1960s, right? So there keeps being all these barriers in her way, and on top of that, she's dealing with the weird stuff that's going on with the family, the dragons, like her father being an asshole, her mum and her aunt, and all this kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot going on, and it's kind of like her everyday struggle, right? And then the dragons are there, yeah? So like the dragons are like the backdrop to her struggle in the 1950s and 60s, being a woman that wants to not fit the housewife mold, right? She doesn't want to follow the path that society and her family are putting out for her. And whilst that is interesting, women are fucking dragons. Not fucking dragons, they are dragons. Like, women are literally turning into dragons. And I get it. I get it because it's like repressed and we don't talk about it and stuff, but I want you to talk about it. I want to know more about this, not just like from the scientific standpoint. And then this might be kind of a mild spoiler. Like, we do get some dragony stuff towards the end, and I didn't love it, if I'm honest. Like, I'm not sure how I felt about it. I was kind of sitting there going, okay, yeah, right. Not where I thought we were going to go with this, but okay. Okay, yeah, I like the whole like society changing and understanding it more, fine. And then the last 30 pages, right, was this woman's entire life, right? So we got to a certain point, she's still a young woman, and then the entire rest of her life was the last like 30 pages. And I was like, man, this sounds really interesting. Why aren't we focusing on this part? Why are we not talking about what she's doing after this? Because this sounds really cool. And so I was kind of frustrated that we were focusing so much on her kind of teenage years and like the very start of the dragon stuff, because the end sounded really interesting. So I really want to like this more. I wanted this to be like a 4.5. I wasn't thinking a 5. I was, I was kind of hoping it was going to be a surprise fave, because this sort of writing style has been really working for me in weird stuff and horror stuff. And this is weird. Women are turning into dragons, and I get the metaphors that are going on. I understand that we're talking about other stuff, but it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. I'm disappointed. So here's the thing. It's Wednesday. So far, we've had a DNF, a disappointing 3.5, and a 4, and 2.5 books. And let's be honest, that was not half a book, it was like 100 pages. Feels like not a great vlog, at least not when my original goal was 5. It's too late, really. I'm quite tired. I was going to edit and maybe read some more, but I don't know if I can be bothered. tomorrow I'm playing Vampire, and Friday this vlog is supposed to go up. There's not really any time to read another book. But I really want to try and fit one more in. I'm my own worst enemy. I want to try and find a win. And there's a lot of pressure, but we're going to try anyway, okay? And what we're going to hope is that, listen to me, Cauldron, okay? Listen to my plea. We want something that's fairly short, and we want something that I can potentially get an audiobook for. And then, if it needs to be pushed back to Saturday or Sunday, it can be. But let's just try one more. Right, let's give it a good shuffle. And we're going to go for this one, which is... Oh, that's interesting. Okay, hang on. In my excitement, I forgot to show you, but it is Black Lake Manor by Guy Morpus, and I think that the name is pronounced Lucille Blue. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. So it's Lucille's pick, Black Lake Manor by Guy Morpus. Now, okay, hear me out. Hear me out, okay. I have 2 books by Guy Morpus, and both of them I am really intrigued by, okay? I've really been wanting to read them, but they have been in the cauldron both times. So they were both put in the cauldron in last year, and they were both put in the cauldron this year. And so I can't just like pick them up. I mean, I could, because you guys would just like pick again. But I've been like putting them off because I was like, oh, it'll come out of the jar. And I'm so intrigued by this. I'm so happy to be picking this up. Is it almost 400 pages? Yes. Are we potentially going to be pushing the vlog back? Yes. Okay? I'm making an executive decision. I mean, I'm not. The cauldron is. But I'm thinking, do you know what? I'll just push this vlog back, and I can push my TBR back if I need to. Who gives a shit? I really want to read this. A locked room mystery like no other. In the former mining town of Black Lake, there is a folktale passed down the generations. An old story about a ship wrecked upon the coast and the single survivor who made it to shore. His descendants are said to have a unique ability. Once in their lives, and only once, they can unwind the events of the previous 6 hours. More than 200 years later, part-time police constable Ella Manning is attending a party at Black Lake Manor, the clifftop mansion of the town's divisive local billionaire. When a raging storm sweeps in, she and several other guests find themselves trapped, and when their host is discovered brutally murdered in his study the next morning, the door locked from the inside, they turn to her to solve the crime. Pushing her detective skills to the limit against the odds, Ella is sure she has identified the killer, but then someone undoes time. With no memory of what she discovered before, her investigation begins again with very different results. Which of her suspects is the murderer, and is there something even more sinister she is yet to uncover? Can she solve the mystery before time runs out again? I'm so excited. Okay. Alright, okay, I'm glad. I'm glad that I picked something. I mean, please, I'm aware that because I'm so excited now I'm setting the bar very high. So this is either going to be the win of the vlog, or you're about to see a very upset and disappointed Gemma. Hello, this is going to be a quick update because I'm at work, but I'm just over halfway through Black Lake Manor by Guy Morpus, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm not 100% sure it's going to be a 5 stars. I guess it depends on how it all kind of wraps up, but I am enjoying the journey, the ride. I'm going to put spoilers because this is not in the synopsis, so just in case you are planning on reading this and you don't want to know any information, spoilers. I didn't realise that this is actually set in the future. So it's set in 2045 and there's a lot of different technology. So there's stuff to do with like robots and AI and kind of like holograms, but physical holograms. Like you can be in one place, augmented reality, I guess, like, I don't know, but you're in one place and then you can have like a digital version of yourself elsewhere that you're controlling, and you can kind of like pick stuff up and interact with the world. And there's this whole kind of thing about this guy is like the Steve Jobs of his era, if that makes sense. He's making all these advances, but he has made some enemies because he's not maybe the most ethical in his way of doing it. So it's interesting because you've got all this kind of like modern technology plus this old, I was going to say legend, but it's not really a legend, like this power, this ability, if you want, that has come from, I want to say like the land, almost like magic-y type stuff. So you've got these two kind of worlds meeting. There's a storm, we're locked in a manor, someone's dead. It's a good setup. I think part of the reason that I'm not loving it as much as I thought is I don't really like the main character. In some ways she's very interesting, like she's very intelligent, she's like a doctor, she's been in the Navy, not like a physician doctor, she's a marine biologist doctor. She's been in the Navy and, you know, she's involved somewhat in the tech stuff. And I think, see, this is where I'm not sure. I think that she's supposed to have some kind of OCD or like touch aversion disorder, but it hasn't really been explained. She does like the touching, like the counting and stuff. So there's obviously some kind of neurodiversity there, but I'm not 100% sure what it's supposed to be. But if I park all of that, she's kind of a dick. Like she's done some things and I'm like, that seems like unnecessarily mean and combative for the situation. So having her kind of like leading the investigation when she is personally linked to quite a lot of the people involved is interesting. So I am enjoying a lot of the discussions around like technology and the environment and what we're doing to the planet for the sake of progress, but I'm not fully loving it yet. But let's see how it goes. I was going to check how long I've got on the audiobook. The audiobook is on you. I think because I've got it sped up, I could finish this before I finish work today. I don't know if that means that you're going to see this on Friday, tomorrow, because I still have to edit it. So it might have to be pushed to Saturday. But I'm actually really surprised, even with an audiobook, that I managed to squeeze another book in. So anyway, I have to go back to work. I'll see you after. I'm about to go on to play Vampire, but before I do, I wanted to come and close this vlog because I have finished Black Lake Manor. I was super excited for this, and I think it's going to scrape a 4. Here's the thing. I think the premise of this was so good. I'm not sure that it was executed as well as it could have been. There is a lot about this I really, really like. Some of it I already talked about in the spoiler section, so I won't go over it again. I enjoyed the time travel element, but as is with the danger of time travel stuff, because you're going over the same things, there was a moment where I was like, this is a little bit repetitive. Like, I already know this. There is also the fact that like every character is kind of a douche, and I didn't like the main character very much, so it's really hard to like root for her and get behind her. And it's not because she's not a likable character, like I just didn't gel with her, because I can have a character that is technically not a likable character and I can get behind them and I can still really like them. I was struggling to do that with her. I will say, because this book jumps back and forth between like what's happening now and then something that happened 20 years prior, but also the kind of like start of this turning back time power, I actually really enjoyed that part. Like, I enjoyed getting to see how that happened. I enjoyed that side of it quite a bit, like the power itself and how that kind of impacted not just the story but also the dynamic between the characters was really interesting. There was a time that I got a little bit confused with something with the power. Like, I was like, hang on, what, how, who? But I mean, I did read this entire thing in a day. Part of me wonders whether I would have enjoyed it more if it was a little bit more spaced out. But I did quite like the writing style. I thought there were some really good elements of this. So I'm hoping that Five Minds, which is the debut for this author and is the one that intrigues me the most, will be a win for me. Like, I still think this was a win. Like, I had a really good time reading it. I did enjoy it. It was a good mystery. But I think that Five Minds is gonna suit me more. So a 4, pretty good. I would recommend it. I think that it's going to work for a lot of people, and it did work for me. There was just parts of it that I didn't love, so I can't give it above a 4 star. But I would definitely read from this author again. I mean, I plan to with Five Minds, but I would read like more from Guy Morpus as he brings it out. So whilst this episode hasn't been the most successful rating wise, I do think it was still a good episode because I'm gonna unhaul these 2 things. Okay, so that's space on the shelf, and they would have sat there for a long time. This is a DNF, so it's obviously going to get unhauled, and this, I just know that I'm never going to read it again, and if I did, it wouldn't be physically, so there's no point in holding on to this hardback. I might as well pass it on and see if anybody else wants to give it a go. I'm going to keep this because I don't know if I would read it again, but there is a possibility that I would. Now that I know how it all pans out, I could see myself picking it up again. Maybe. I'm undecided. We'll see. And then What Moves the Dead, I was going to show you my Kindle. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher obviously was not physical anyway, but I would continue this series. So a DNF, a 3.5 and 2 4s. It could have been better, but hey, it could have been worse. I really wanted to try and squeeze another book in because I was like, come on, we need like a 4.5 minimum, but I just don't have the time. 1, I think this vlog is going to be delayed already, and 2, I still have some of my Camp Horacle books to read and buddy reads, and time is not on my side. It is running out, which sounds way more dramatic than it needs to because it's reading, and literally if I don't finish them by the end of the month, like, nothing explodes. It's okay. So as I said at the start of the vlog, I am keeping that spreadsheet up to date. So if you're a member of the Discord and you've not picked yet, or if you want to join the Discord, like I say, the link is in the description box, feel free, and you can put more books into the jar. Honestly, I have so much fun doing this because even if I don't love the books, I'm reading stuff that maybe I've been putting off and maybe I won't be picking up. So it's good fun. It's good fun for me. I look forward to the next episode. Hopefully next time we'll get at least 1 5. In the comments below, let me know the last book that you were so sure was going to be a 5 star for you that didn't quite hit the mark. Or if you just want me to know you're here, that purple heart is always appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed and you'd like to see more content from me, remember to hit that button, leave a like if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!